Hello, friends. David Paulides here with a special edition of Missing 411, a broadcast focused on a pattern that is so unusual, so deeply unsettling. It's been carried in my files for years. For 2 days, it's been raining up here in northern Montana, a welcome sign, keeping the fire danger low. But today, we're not focused on nature's blessings. We are focused on a dark anomaly. It's a cluster of 3 disappearances, 3 prominent leaders from a single religious denomination, vanishing in ways that defy any logical explanation. Before we dive into the missing, we need to talk about the strange, pervasive energy surrounding these events, the warning signs we've been receiving from the village. One letter discussed the sheer volume of attacks on our food supply chain. Over 20 massive fires hitting mills, plants, and warehouses in just a few short months. Is it a conspiracy or just chaos? All I can tell you is this. Preparedness is a fundamental, non-negotiable lesson in the Missing 411 world. You must be ready. But the truly chilling letters, they point to an element we can't explain, the unseen force. One reader, recalling an experience in South Carolina, described a low, continuous electrical humming sound in the woods, a sound his father warned him to flee from immediately. His father theorized it was massive, stored electrical energy in the earth, a precursor to a violent event, a coronal discharge of a terrifying, unknown source. Years later, a perfect 18-foot circle of lush grass was found on the forest floor where that energy was focused. A circle of life where only death should have been. I experienced a similar deep vibration coming from the earth myself in a remote, wooded area of Hoopa, California. A subterranean hum that lasted for minutes. Unsettling. Then there was the letter describing the overwhelming, compelling urge to take off all your clothes after hearing a low buzzing in the woods. This compulsion, it overcame a 4-year-old kid. He felt like he was being possessed by some force he didn't understand. We see this pattern often in our files. Victims found stripped naked, miles from their clothing, in conditions that defy the simple explanation of hypothermia. This is not panic, this is mind control. The terrifying question then becomes, what is this unseen force? A villager once wrote that demons, the bad angels, can disguise themselves as angels of light to lure humans away. It provides a horrifying lens through which to view these disappearances, a scenario where the victim is not lost, but rather actively lured. In my 14 years of compiling Missing 411 cases, I have never found a cluster of high-profile leaders from a single religious denomination vanishing this way. Yet, here we are. 3 prominent leaders of the Episcopal Church, each vanishing decades apart, in locations and manners that are deeply, deeply unsettling. Our first case takes us to a place famous for the bizarre, Westcliff, Colorado, near the San Luis Valley. In September 1928, Reverend A. M. Burroughs, 70, a beloved pastor, told people he was walking the 7 miles to his church. He knew the trek well. He never arrived. The entire community searched relentlessly for 4 days. They found nothing. The official theory was a fall from a cliff, but the area was searched, and the San Luis Valley is rated the #1 UFO hotspot in North America. Did a 70-year-old man simply fall and vanish? Or was his disappearance related to the strange energy radiating from that high-altitude valley? 6 years later, the same denomination, a different location, the same bizarre outcome. The 20th of July, 1934, in Glacier National Park, Montana. Bishop William Faber, 74, the head of the Episcopal Church in Montana, told staff he was taking a short, 1-hour hike before dinner. He was an experienced outdoorsman. 3 days later, a ranger found him 3 hours away from the lodge, 1 mile off the only trail, deep in the rugged wilderness. And this is the part that defies logic. Bishop Faber was found deceased, standing upright in a creek like a pillar, with his head and shoulders dry. He died of shock and exposure, not drowning. Why did he take a death march 3 hours into the dark, miles off the trail, only to be found standing? The timing is also suspect. His companion had left the day before. Another point of separation. The final case is perhaps the most documented bizarre disappearance of a religious figure anywhere. Bishop James Pike in 1969. Pike was brilliant. A Yale law graduate and a bishop whose world was broken by his son's suicide, leading him to pursue studies in the paranormal. In September 1969, Pike and his wife were in the Judean desert near the Dead Sea, the desolate wilderness where Christ retreated. Their car got stuck in a dried riverbed. Pike, feeling ill, stayed behind near a cave, and his wife hiked out for help. A clear point of separation. When she returned with Israeli police, they found Pike's underwear abandoned in the middle of the desert, miles from where he was last seen. His body was found a week later on an inaccessible ledge, high up on the mountain. He was naked, kneeling, with his head resting on a rock. How did a sick, exhausted man climb to an inaccessible ledge only to die naked in a bizarre kneeling pose? The pattern is undeniable. Nakedness, elevation, and separation. What is the common thread? The buzzing sound that causes mind control. The unseen force that compels people to strip and leave their safety. My theory, and it's a terrifying one, is that these men, these spiritual leaders, stumbled into something few people ever encounter, a dimensional rift. Imagine the hum and the electrical anomalies are the acoustic signature of a tear in our reality, where the barrier between our world and another is incredibly thin. This energy leakage affects the mind, causing the vertigo, the nausea, and the uncontrollable urge to undress. The body reacts to forces it cannot comprehend. The unseen force, whether demons or cryptids, described in ancient texts, uses this rift. When the point of separation occurs, the target is vulnerable. They are lured or pulled into the void. When a body is eventually found, like Faber standing upright, or Pike kneeling naked on a high ledge, it's not found where they died. It's ejected or dropped back from the rift, miles away, in a posture that is completely meaningless to our logic. These men, devoted to the spiritual, may have been targeted because their heightened awareness brought them too close to the truth of the unseen forces operating on the edge of our reality. I don't push religion. I simply present the facts from the missing 411 files. And the facts show that something is hunting on the fringes of our wilderness. You cannot walk away with the simple answer of an accidental death. Not when the victims are found in these impossible final locations. I want to hear from you. We are the village. If you have an explanation for the unbelievable loss of 3 of the church's leaders, please share your thoughts. In the comments below, do your homework. First, please state where you are commenting from your state, province, or country. Let's see how far the village stretches. Secondly, tell me your theory. Why this church? Why these men? Your insight is invaluable. Thank you for watching. Your friendship is truly appreciated. Be kind to someone today. David Paulides. Missing 411. Out. Stay safe, friends.